Hello and welcome to an episode of the Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast. As always, I am your host, Macaulay Culkin. With me, I have the commissioner who has got a man bun and is in a hotel room. I am in the former location of the Suck Up Cup, which seems very far away from where I currently sit.
Yeah, man, it's a hell of a start to the season after going back to back um, from the previous 2 years. It is very far away from your house. 0-5 is extremely hard to climb out of, especially in a division that has two teams that are beating the brakes off the other two. You and Fuller are having a tough time, where Ethan and I are the top of that division right now. So the three divisions is kind of interesting. I didn't think I would like it, but I think I do. Not because I'm winning, but it's just interesting. I
I
have
honestly have no grasp on the divisions whatsoever because um, as you can tell, I've put very little thought into my fantasy season. And the more I lose, the less motivation I have to care. So,
yeah, it's tough. I mean, we were talking about you know not to take those running backs in that area. Like I know you took I still think Garrett Wilson was a good pick. I still think Alvin Ra was a good pick at that time. Um, but
the
you
running
kind
backs
of
just murdered me.
But the running, instead of forcing the running backs, like where Sackett and I, we just didn't force the running back. We just said, screw it, we'll find a running back later. If you take some of those receivers in that area, like you could honestly, like hindsight's 2020, you could have taken Achan and you wouldn't have to traded anyone for Achan. Um, because Achan went after you took Rashad White. Um,
Yeah, let's talk about the HN trade a little bit.
yeah.
So, I um had already worked out this deal
Hmm.
before Sunday. I just have been so busy that I did not even look at my notifications until that morning when I had time. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, we agreed to this. I'm gonna put it through." And you know, sometimes this shit happens. It would have been exactly the same had I traded it for him on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whatever.
exactly. I mean, it's just a bummer because it's going to process tomorrow morning, and now you're not. I mean, it's kind of
I'm basically
because you wait.
trading Amon Ross St. Brown for Rashid Shaheed.
I mean, but HN he only has a concussion. It's not.
Yeah, he'll be back.
But the worst part is like you traded away Amon-Ra St. Brown on his bye week, and now you're trading for
A
HN
bye week
on a bye
player.
week. It's
Yeah.
like you're losing like your best player back-to-back weeks on a bye week almost. Um,
Yeah,
but
and Tua's not back yet either, so it's fine. Achan's a long play anyway.
Yep, definitely. I mean, if you can kind of scrape by, and I mean, we've seen people come back to like squeak into the playoffs. I know Brinkman started like 0 and like 1-6 one year, and
Yeah, it's not over.
no, it's not over by any means because there's 8 teams that make the playoffs. So you just got to be able to squeak your way back in. You've won as the 8 seed, um,
Yeah.
so you just got to keep
It wasn't this kind of
fighting.
start though.
Yeah, that's tough. I think we just lost our last undefeated team too. Um, I believe Stewart was the lone 4-0 team. Um, and I believe he is going to lose this week, so he will no undefeated teams left. Yeah, and only one winless team. That would be you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone else has it. Oh no, that's not true. Heath and Dark Horse only have one win.
Yes. Um,
And Fuller.
yeah, Foolish too.
So honestly, that's your bottom four.
Mhm.
Um, Climbing out of it is not that difficult.
Yeah, just
Because just like last year, there's like the haves and the have nots a little bit. So
yeah. So it looks like um I will be 4-1 pending the results of tonight's game, but should be fine. Um, Sackett will be 3-2. You will be 0-5. Luke will be 4-1. Fuller 1-4. As much as we gave Drew a lot of crap, he's going to be 3-2. He's kind of picked himself up after a rough draft and a rough bench, but he has I mean, playing Josh Downs, he played Jalen Tolbert, like he played Trey Tucker the week that he went off. Like he just kind of he has Chase Brown who he went off last week and played him. Like he's kind of in these scenarios, like, and he's actually going to get a good bench coming back. Jonathan Brooks is going to be coming back. Nick Chubb's going to be coming back. Tony Pollard back from a bye. Puka Nacua is going to come back. TJ Hawkinson's going to come back. His roster is going to be pretty well off in the next 2 weeks. So he's just kind of staying afloat. So good for him. Like you said, Heath, 1-4. Blaster gets a win to 2-3. Ethan's team is 3-2, and it's a pretty decent team. And he just got Amon-Ra. So it's going to be he put up 165. So but he had 40 from Chase and 34 from Burrow. Um,
I love how I was right on Tutu Atwell, but I haven't had the balls to start him for the last
yeah,
3 weeks.
yeah. And then Garrett 1-4. Gage will be 4-1 also. So we have 4-1 teams. Gage, myself,
Your
Franklin,
brother.
and Luke, all 4-1. Which
Impressive.
means is there a division that has two 4-1 teams?
I don't know.
Okay. I think that's going to be the case. Four- Yeah,
I don't know.
Brinkman and Gage are in the same division. They'll both be 4-1. So
Tiebreakers is head to head still, or did we change it?
it's
I can't
it's
remember.
points.
Points. Okay.
Points.
I couldn't remember if we changed it.
Yeah. It's points because we're doing the three divisions for
Um,
that lunch.
let's talk about a game that I need some information on first.
I'll do my best.
Uh,
I
yeah.
watched a decent amount on Thursday and Sunday. But just I'll do my best. What game are we talking
All
about?
right. Bo Nix has a pretty good game. I do know that to be true. The Broncos beat the Raiders. It was back and forth until halftime, and then the Broncos took away the victory. Um, Aiden O'Connell looked like crap. I don't know when they switched to whom. I'm pretty sure Gardner was the first half, but he was playing really well, and then they switched. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, they're both
uh,
struggling.
my question was, did Alexander Madison take the backfield? And no, he did not.
No, Zamir White was out.
Yes,
He did.
they can't run the ball.
No, they can't.
Amir Abdullah scores a touchdown on the ground.
He did. Madison did get the majority of the work, though. He did put up like 10 or 11 points. So he does have the stranglehold on the backfield. I don't know how much that really matters because the Raiders are garbage. So yeah, there's the only bright spot on that offense is Brock Bowers currently. And there's rumors that Devontae Adams will be traded in the next week or so. Obviously,
Yeah, which means it's going to be like 15 targets a game for Bowers.
yeah, which obviously the top two teams that everyone is speculating is the Jets because of Rodgers and people have talked about the Saints to link back up with Derek Carr,
Hmm.
which would
I
not.
don't know. I've never been an Adams fan. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's so hard to trade.
Classically not an Adams fan.
Yeah. So
All right. Nothing really else happened in this game for
no,
fantasy purposes.
no.
Javonte Williams had 5 targets, so that was cool. Um, looks like Bo Nix rushed in a touchdown as well. That's what inflated his stats. Cortland Sutton had a bivy of receptions, or not receptions, targets. He does get targeted a lot, which is good because he's a good player. So it's good that Bo Nix recognizes that. There was a hell of a game uh, right across the street from where you're at right now, Zach, on Thursday night.
Yeah. Wow, what a game. Kirk Cousins went ballistic. Over 500 yards passing. Drake London, huge game. Darnell Mooney, huge game. And Kadero Hodge catches the game-winning touchdown. It was 45 yards for the score in overtime. The Buccaneers do not touch the ball in overtime, and it was a receiver show, that's for sure. Mike Evans catches 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans now has over 100 career touchdowns. Um, Yeah,
That's a cool
super
stat.
fun game. They went back and forth all night. Baker Mayfield looked rejuvenated and playing well in Tampa. The running backs in Tampa are kind of a mess right now between Bucky Irving and Rashad White. Um, it's
Just what
tough.
I like to hear. Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Just
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But Kirk Cousins looked really good, threw it all over the yard. Um, Drake London had 13 targets. Darnell Mooney had 18 targets. Um, just
18 targets.
wild.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Darnell Mooney sitting on Brinkman's bench this week.
I see 16, but
16, okay.
doesn't matter.
Either way, 16
Pitts
targets.
had a good game finally
It's had a
too.
good game.
He rode my bench because how could you start him or Mark Andrews
Yeah.
after what they've shown?
First round, going back to Bijan and Breeze, like first round running backs have not paid off very well this year in fantasy.
Uh, Bijan hasn't had a good start.
No, he's been
Oh, I
okay.
thought he had all right,
Yeah,
but
but I mean, 12 points is not
no,
that
he
good
has
from
not
your,
been all right.
yeah.
Soldier Field, 3:08 p.m., Chicago, Illinois, Sunday, October 6th. Caleb Williams, he showed up across from the Field Museum and he decided that he was going to put the work in. 20 for 29, 304, 2 touchdowns, only sacked one time, 126.2 QBR, 5 rushes for 34 yards. Put that team on your back.
Their running backs are really like they just fed DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson. They ran the ball all over the yard. Swift has been the best running back in the league the last 2 weeks after being poo-poo the first 3 weeks. Um,
Caleb turning around, handing the ball. DeAndre, Caleb spinning around, throwing the ball. DJ.
yeah, DJ Moore was definitely a bright spot.
I need more
Keenan
water.
Allen
That's
and
what's good.
Roma Dunze took a back seat to DJ Moore, even though DJ Moore only caught
Some
five
nice
passes.
highlights from that first half.
Mhm.
I think both touchdowns happened in the first half.
I think so.
Yep. And they were both really nice. Really nice mid to deep. It looked like it was like blown coverage on one of them. DJ Moore, as soon as he got put on the trade block by, I think, Cody,
Luke put him on the trade block.
Luke put him on the trade block. And then he said,
He did tell me he had an offer for DJ Moore and he declined it before the week started.
yeah,
Uh,
DeAndre Swift, man, what? Out of nowhere.
last 2 weeks,
I
man.
like it. Chuba Hubbard, he's good.
There were, I think, 2 or 3 ejections late in the fourth quarter of that game.
Really. That's
Yeah,
because it's cold in Chicago.
it was a blowout. The Bears kind
I
of,
still want to go to that stadium before they build a new one
yeah,
because it's just iconic. Um, I care more about going to Soldier Field than I do Lambeau, which is kind of weird. But we've been to that stadium and I think it's cool as hell.
yeah.
Okay, Baltimore gets the dub in overtime. I swear I'll tone down the energy. That was just for Caleb Williams. Lamar Jackson throws 4 touchdowns and 348 passing yards. That is quite the line for a running back.
Yeah, Joe Burrow had even a better game, which is wild on the other side, through 5 touchdowns.
When do
That
you get a
game,
shootout in the AFC North?
yeah, that was a fun game to watch. And the the Bengals well, they both kind of threw it away. Lamar fumbled and gave the Bengals the ball, and then um, the Bengals missed a field goal to ice the game, and then Tucker hits a long field goal to send it to overtime, and then the Ravens, um, or the Bengals missed a field goal in overtime, like a 50-yarder, and then first play of the overtime, Derrick Henry rips one off for like 50 yards down to like the 5-yard line, and then they just chip shot it in for the the field goal to end the game. It was a super fun game. Um, Big game from
Terrific.
all the tight ends. For the Ravens, Mark Andrews got the least amount, but he still did get like 10 points.
Yeah, Isaiah
Um,
Likely with the 2 touchdowns. You like to
yep,
see that.
yep.
And
Charlie Cole.
Charlie Kohler, not
Yeah,
in my book, but sure.
sure, why not? Yeah, decent day for the
Derrick
Ravens.
Henry ran all over everyone again too, so that's
Yeah,
cool. Some this game I did actually see a lot of because it was on in the pod. Um, because I had access to a computer at times, but not really. So I just watched from um like 20 yards away the television. Um, CJ Stroud had a pretty good game. Josh Allen gets injured in this one. His head slams into the ground, but he goes back in? Question
yeah,
mark.
yeah.
I don't
That
know
was
why they let him do that.
I don't
Um,
know, but they
James Cook had a good day.
I don't know. The ending of that game was blasphemy. Like, did you see the end of the game?
No.
Okay.
Oh, kind of. It was a field goal. It was a huge field goal, like a
Yeah,
60 yarder.
but there's no way the Bills should have just played for overtime. The Bills were down like
59.
the Texans punting the
Yeah,
ball
yeah.
at like the
Yep.
2 yard line. And what does Josh Allen do? They throw it 3 times, all incomplete passes, punt it back. CJ Stroud throws a little 5, 6 yard check down, and then Fairbairn hits the 59 yarder to win the game. Like, just run the ball and go to overtime. Like, that's just weird. Um, so that's on the Bills coaching staff. That's a terrible way to lose the game. Like, just you're not gonna probably score. Like, you got the ball for 50 like 5 seconds on the 2 yard line. You have to like I, I don't get it. And they all incomplete passes, punting it back, and let Fairbairn hit essentially a 60 yarder to win it. Terrible coaching.
That was a hell of a kick.
Yeah. By the way,
That that took some cajon.
going into week 5, the Cowboys kicker has outscored the number one tight end, by the way.
You're fucking kidding me.
Going into week 5. So I don't know what the scores are this week, but Aubrey had more points than the number one overall tight end. Kickers are more important than tight ends, apparently.
That's why we care about kickers on this show. It honestly was chopped up to be like a way better game than Baltimore Cincinnati on offense, and it was nothing like it,
Yeah.
obviously. Tank Bigsby, uh,
Good. Like a tank.
whew, I just saw the highlight a little bit ago, out of the corner of my eye of that run. That was
Yeah.
angry.
Tank Baseby.
Yes.
So good.
ETN gets hurt, exits the game. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna come back," and then he gets hurt again
Hmm.
immediately afterward,
Yeah, Tank Bigsby's looked a lot better than Travis Etienne this year.
which is sad
Um,
because I love ETN and he spent a lot of years in college so that he could get his body right for this performance, and he just didn't do it.
yeah. I mean, it's a long season. Like, I wouldn't be giving up on Etienne in any stretch, but yeah, if
No,
you had
but
a little Tank
if
Bigsby action, it would be good.
you might be looking at starting both of them in the flex.
Hmm.
But Brian Thomas is legit.
Oh, legit. Legit.
He looks like such a man.
He's so good.
He's on the trading block, just so you guys know. Michael Pittman finds the end zone. That's nice. You'd think Joe would be a little bit nicer to him because he is the best receiver on that team. But for some reason, uh,
Josh
I
Downs.
don't understand Michael Pittman Jr.
Josh
at all.
Downs is really good.
I don't get the Michael Pittman Jr. hate.
I mean, with Flacco, it's fine. It's just it's tough with Richardson. I know Richardson didn't play this week. Richardson has a little bit of ways to go, but Flacco coming in and just slinging it again. Should have stayed in Cleveland. Should have not kept Deshaun Watson. Should have just gone with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, well, you'll have that on them big jobs.
But even better, just Jameis Winston is behind Deshaun Watson. One day, one day soon.
All right. The score line was a lot closer than the game actually was. The Jets lose to the Vikings early in the morning. Oh, horribly boring game.
Tottenham Stadium.
Was it in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Yep.
It was a very boring game. I'm sorry that the Londoners had to put up with that product. I really am. I saw some of this game when I would break away. I went and hid for a little while throughout Sunday, as one must, in order to get caught up on
The action.
the action, which was not happening on my team.
Well, Garrett Wilson had like 12 catches, 12 catches.
Yeah, but none of that happened while I was paying attention. He had like 4 points when I stopped looking at that game, and then he had 22 targets.
Yeah, 22 targets.
Ow!
That's insane.
Rodgers has hated him all year. He had more targets in this game than he has all season.
Well, Rodgers hasn't hated him. He's just going
He
against like the
hated him.
best corners in the league right now. Like they've had a pretty tough stretch. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, Rodgers hates him, and I don't get
Rodgers
it.
Rodgers doesn't hate him
Not anymore.
anymore.
Miami Dolphins, they win it with 4 minutes to go from a fullback run. Excellent.
Yeah, that
They
game.
won it from field goal, Jason Sanders, and a fullback run. That's about as Miami as it gets.
That's a game that you really don't need to try to
Um,
watch.
Devon Shane gets hurt.
Yep.
Literally 2 hours after I trade for him. Maybe less than 2 hours.
Yep. And that will process in the morning.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, he had a really nice run there too.
Yep. He did leave the game with an injury, so just something to
Oh,
monitor with Stevenson as well. Stevenson did get benched. He did not get the start. Antonio Gibson got the start because of all the
he
fumbles.
was far more um, productive.
Yeah, it was
That's
just
fine.
like, okay, you're not going to get the start. You're going to sit on the bench for the first couple plays and get back.
Whatever. Let's see. The Cowboys and the Steelers was last night. There was a wild ending to that game, which was the Jalen Tolbert coming out party. That's what that game was.
Yep, I watched zero of that game. It started at almost 8 o'clock.
I also watched zero of that game, but I did watch the extended highlight, so I feel like I'm the most informed. Rico Dowdle had a nice day. It rained a lot. I watched a fan drink a Bud Light inside of a raincoat. That happened while it was being delayed. That was all of the game I saw live. Because I was on the treadmill while that was happening. Um, Pat Fryermuth had a nice day. He just was really impactful. I don't know what his stat line was, but he was very impactful. Pickens should have had a nicer day, but the Cowboys secondary actually decided to play, which is
Yeah.
new for them.
Um,
Very new.
do you think Russell Wilson plays this year, barring injury?
No. Do we have a bet on it?
No.
I think Fields is going to get injured at some point. Is the thing.
Okay. But okay, so if he gets hurt, Russ comes in. Does Fields get the job back then? I would assume so.
Maybe. You know what's weird is this weather. You'd think would suit the Steelers more. The Cowboys did not struggle with the weather very much, except for Dak seeing ghosts in the secondary. Like
Yeah,
he
and I
threw
know
two
that the
picks. If
Cowboys
he didn't throw those picks, this game would have been a blowout.
and I do know that the Cowboys did win like in the last like minute of the game.
Yes, it would have been a blowout if not for the turnovers by Prescott.
Yeah. But I do think Dowdle has overtaken that backfield. Um,
Well, yeah. Zeke's old. We've
Zeke,
known this.
yeah.
It is known.
It is.
Packers beat the Rams. This is the first time I'm finding this out. It looks like the Rams tried to make a fourth quarter comeback, but it was a little too late. I have said since the beginning of the season that the Rams are bad, um, and they are.
As bad as they've been without Cooper Cup and Puka Nacua, like they're hanging
They're still
around.
fantasy relevant.
They're fantasy relevant. They're hanging around in these games, which gives hope for Cooper Cup. Gives hope for Puka Nacua. Kyron Williams has been again good. Um, so he's been solid. But yeah, it's until those guys come back, it does look like Cooper Cup should be coming back week 7. They do have a bye week next week. He should be back week 7.
Josh Jacobs has an all right day. He is not really a focal point of that offense, which is weird to say. But then again, we haven't really been hearing much from that offense because Love was hurt.
Yep. Really wonky stuff with the Packers. Romeo Dobbs was suspended this week
Uh-huh.
because he intentionally skipped practice on Thursday and Friday um, because he wasn't a fan of his role in the offense. So he was suspended 1 week for conduct detrimental to the team. They
It should have
still
been a big Wicks day, but it wasn't.
He did drop a couple of passes.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed's been good. Tucker Kraft was great this week.
Weird
But
sentence.
yeah, but again, every single tight end is playable and every single tight end is droppable. Unless your name is Brock Bowers. Okay, there's about 4 tight ends you can't drop, and their names are
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers. Name the 4. Name the 4 that
Brock Bowers.
that's one.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers and Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I'd say the only um there's probably 5 tight ends. I would say Brock Bowers. I would say Travis Kelsey now because Rossi Rice is
Now,
out now. Yes. I would say Trey McBride.
who just came back from injury. How did he look?
I think he scored like 12 or 13.
Okay.
Um, I would consider Kittle in those. Like you got to play him every week.
Yeah, just because it's such a wasteland. If it wasn't a wasteland, then you wouldn't be
And I would
considering
actually
Kittle.
consider Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson has been
Yeah, I agree. He's
um,
very steady Eddie.
very steady Eddie. We did think I did think I lost him for multiple weeks at the very beginning of the year because I thought he really hurt his knee. But granted, it was just a 1 week absence. But I would say those 5 tight ends are the only 5 tight ends like you would say, okay, you must start those 5 every week. Otherwise, like tight ends 6 through 40 are probably about the same.
It's a wasteland.
Yeah. Every tight end is startable
Wasteland,
and every tight end is droppable.
baby. Kyron Williams, he definitely does enough to keep his job.
Yep.
Um, owning any running back besides him is a ginormous mistake.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me what happened with Daniel Jones when the Giants won. What happened?
Darius Slayton had a nice game. Um, no Malik Neighbors this week. He was out with a concussion from last week. Um,
Oh, Wandale. We had a Wandale game, which
yep,
was predicted
yep,
because there was no neighbors.
yep. Tyrone Tracy had a nice day. No Devin Singletary. Um, but the game was such a wash because it was like the entire first quarter, Seattle didn't touch the ball. Seattle didn't touch the ball the entire first quarter, and Seattle was up 7-0. The Giants ran like a 16 play, 14-minute drive or 13-minute drive in the first quarter, and they got all the way down to the 1 yard line, and Eric Gray fumbled it at the goal line, and they ran it back 100 yards for a touchdown. Like it just crazy. That was their only touchdown of the game. Seattle's only touchdown of the game until the fourth quarter when Gino hooked up with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and the Seattle was just about to tie it up. kick the game time field goal to go to overtime, yet the Giants blocked it and returned it for a touchdown to end the game. So just the Giants skating by and getting a dub.
Is it just because of where the Seahawks play that I have not heard about them very much this year? Or is it just because they're irrelevant?
They're kind of irrelevant. It's been tough. They've had some
They have a
good
better
games.
record than the 49ers.
Yeah, which they link up on Thursday night. Seattle. The Niners have lost back-to-back division games, and now they go play the Seahawks on a short week.
Yeah. Kyler Murray, his little ass ran all over the field. And they beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason fumbles at the very end of this game to seal it.
Yeah.
Which Debo did nothing. It was either game plan or this was his actual injury week, and last week he wasn't injured. I
Yeah,
don't
it was
care.
the big Brandon Ayuk game. Finally, the Brandon Ayuk
Oh,
coming
okay,
out party.
fine.
Like we knew it was coming. But the Niners are going to Niner, and they're going to, a couple guys are going to go off each week. This week it was Brandon
Just
Ayuk.
annoying.
Last week it was Mason and Jennings. And Kittle did catch a touchdown this week. Um, yeah. McCaffrey expected back sometime in the next month, theoretically.
Maybe.
God, I hope so. I really need him.
All right. Jaden Daniels is real.
Real as ever.
He's a real thing. Um, the Commanders might be the best team in the NFC East.
Yeah, they're 4-1. Like they're playing really good.
I don't actually believe that, but by record they are.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin has a nice big catch. He should have scored on that one, but he gets dragged out.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Down to the
there
one.
was not much offense. How did they score so many points? Uh, I don't know. Even looking at it, I'm like, how'd they get to so many points? Not a lot of yards. They must have had very favorable field position. Does
Yeah.
Daniels get hurt in this one? Because there was a Mariota sighting.
Um, Not that I know of.
Hmm. Nick Chubb, hurry back. That's about it for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Browns are a dumpster fire, man.
Again,
We need Jameis. Jameis to save us.
Jameis will save us
Jameis will save us one day.
one more night, one more time.
One more.
Um, all right. Let's talk about 2 weeks of matchups that matter. Because what time is it? Well,
Uh,
I mean it's like 11 o'clock where you're at. We got
Central.
about I don't know what 15 minutes.
Yeah, give or
Okay,
take.
let us talk about the matchups that mattered in week 4. Um, yeah, I got throttled. What's new? But I crossed 100 points. Nico Collins, thank you very much. Um, yeah, Justin Fields of all people and Nico Collins. Okay,
Yeah.
shows how much I know.
Yeah. So Sagasti went off last week. He set a perfect lineup. He scored 180 points. No one else, like the next highest score was like 135 points. He rocked it last week. Um, Came back down to earth this week a little bit, but
Um, I can't remember his name.
who?
80 Deuce 1P. What's his actual name?
Ethan.
His government name. That's okay. Yeah, it's Ethan. All right. Ethan, he loses to uh Drew.
Drew.
Yep. Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, and some guy named T. Tucker.
Trey Tucker.
Tr Trey Tucker. Okay.
Josh Downs. Nice day for Drew
Yeah.
last week. He gets back.
All right, then we have a Stuart Brinkman taking down a Fuller. Fuller put up a good effort. Um, Devin Singletary getting knocked out of that game did not help.
Yep. That.
Oh,
Yeah,
there was a Brother Bowl, Dale Brennan Bowl. You lost it
I
by
did
3 points.
three and some change. Yeah. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That was literally the week that Rashi Rice got hurt on the third play of the game. Um,
Oh yeah.
so
Oh
another
yeah, because I
play.
thought I had a chance to win my matchup, and then it turns out I didn't.
Yeah, losing
So we
Rashi
talked about
Rice
that.
in that game against Luke, definitely is the difference. Yes, I could have won in a couple different facets with a couple different plays, but Rashi Rice getting hurt last week. It has been confirmed that Rashi Rice does have a torn LCL. He is going to miss
Done for the year.
at least 3 months, which is basically the entire season. Um, so I dropped him just before Monday Night Football after that news came out right before the game. Um, yeah, that's tough. He was cooking. He was cooking for the first 3 weeks. But Luke does skate by and get a win last week.
Heath loses in a very winnable matchup, but just not for him. He had a lot of underperformances when you go back and look at it. Uh, Not much else to say on that. And Blaster outscores Brinkman by, or excuse me, Garrett Brinkman by 3 points. Huge day from DeAndre Swift. Honestly, it's probably a little ballsy to play DeAndre Swift over some of his other options.
Not really.
All right. I mean, DeAndre Swift just went off last week. The week before, he did not.
Yeah, I mean, Blaster had a good week, and Swift 30 almost 30 points. Mike Evans had a nice day. Zach Moss had a good day. Um, just gets it done. Um, yeah, and then yeah, Gage had a good week. Obviously, you mentioned Heath lost. Gage had a good week. Um, but yeah, now we're into this week, week 5. We are wrapping up week 5.
Royals Yankees is going into the ninth inning. Royals are up by 3 if you want to tune into that as well.
It looks like all games are about
Are done.
done.
The only one, no, it's done. How does why is it saying Garrett Brinkman still has a chance to win? Final. I don't know why it's showing that.
Because Carson Field,
Many fumbles from
many
Carson Steele.
fumbles. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, go ahead.
It does look like Gage is going to beat Garrett. Gage is going to get to 4-1. And Garrett is going to drop to 1-4. Nice day for uh Gage. Nice day from Kyron Williams and Godwin. He plays Tucker Kraft, gets almost 25 points. Plays Alec Pierce, gets 22 points. Um, Gage had a lot of bye weeks and injuries, so he kind of had to roll out what he had. So good for Gage. Um, Ethan puts up a nice day. 166 gets 74 points combined between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That's going to be nice every
That's
day of the
insane.
week. Nice day from Brandon Ayuk and Kyle Pitts.
That was like, yeah, that's just absolutely ridiculous to
Yeah,
score that many points
yeah,
off 2 players.
yeah. So underperforming day for Brinkman. He does see an okay day around the board. He does score one. He's going to score about 130, but not quite enough for the 167 Ethan showed up with this week. Blaster hits 2 wins in a row. Another 20 nice 20 spot from DeAndre Swift. Another nice day from Mike Evans. Huge day, 30 points from T. Higgins, 15 points from his kicker. Just a nice overall day for Blaster to beat Heath, who underperforms again, with ETN getting hurt and Tyreek Hill not playing very well. Um, yeah, but Blaster gets the win. Blaster goes to 2-3 after starting 0-3, and then Heath falls to 1-4. Drew gets the win here. Drew's won a couple in a row now, and nice over solid day across the board. A nice big day from Kittle and Tolbert and Downs. Um, and Fuller just underperformance. Um, he does get 26 points from Darius Slayton and 14.7 from Dare Agumbawale. Um, but
Mario
not quite
Gumbo.
enough.
Who does he even play for now?
The Texans.
Oh, okay. He was a Jaguar at one point
Mhm. Dalton,
because I had him on my team.
do you need to break down your matchup?
No, I don't. Braylon Allen, he's a starting running back on my team.
No.
And so Zach Ertz is a starter on my team because I can't trust Mark Andrews, but um, Mark Andrews does all right. I had two running backs that are not starters on most teams, which would have started on my team, who were both out. Uh, in total, my entire running back room, all of them scored less points than Garrett Wilson combined.
Yeah, that's rough. 0-5 for you, Dalton.
Yeah, it was like 21 points from every running back on my roster combined.
Yeah. Luke has a okay day across the board. Well, okay day.
160,
He
bro.
scored 160. He got 30 from Lamar.
It just
Um,
doesn't look at like 160 because most of it's DJ Moore, Lamar, and Bowers.
mhm.
Oh, Chuba,
Chuba
17.
too. So very good day for Luke. And then the other matchup, um, Sackett still has an outside shot to beat me. He still needs 20 points from Hunt, with 1 quarter to go. But I have a decent chance to win here. 144 and some change for me. Decent day from Gino. Pick up Trey Sermon, gets me 18 points. Uh, Very big game from Drake London. Jake Ferguson, 6 for 70. Take it every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Kirk, fine. Tucker, fine. Defense, fine. Could have played Dowdle, but um, overall solid performance by me. Should get me to 4-1. Could drop Sackett down to 3-2. Now bye weeks are coming, so it's going to be a little tougher to make some of those decisions a little easier, possibly. But yeah, we're thinking about it. We're a third of the way through the season next week already.
Ain't that something?
Ain't that something? By the way, if you haven't taken a check yet, you should look at I gotta find this. Um, Russ's dynasty team. He had to play Tank Bigsby, and it was glorious. He's gonna beat Sackett in dynasty, and he literally set a perfect lineup because on his bye week is obviously dynasty. On
I
his
did
bench,
see that Russ beat him in Dynasty.
because
Oh, so close. Oh, oh my God.
I
What a
mean,
fucking team.
granted, Sackett can still win because he does have Alvin Kamara still going.
Oh my God, his entire bench.
Is Yeah,
That is hilarious.
it's literally a perfect lineup because everyone is hurt or out or bye week or dynasty backup quarterbacks. So
That is so funny.
hilarious. And he puts up 187. Just great. Just a good one. I can't you didn't even break 92 in dynasty. That's tough too. Oh,
That's something. Isn't that
that,
cool?
that's something. That's something.
I think it's pretty cool. I like that. It's pretty cool.
Oh man. But next week, Dalton's probably gonna have to rock a solo pod, um, or bring on a guest. I will be out of town again next Monday. I'm not going to have access to do a podcast via remote
I
location.
told him he wasn't allowed to do that. He told me to go fuck myself. It is what it is.
Do what?
to, to leave and make me do a solo pod. I was making a joke.
Oh man.
All right. Um, Zach, enjoy Hotlanta. Enjoy it. I'm gonna watch this last little bit of this game and go to sleep. I think I've worked. Tomorrow will be 7 days in a row, and then I still
Ugh.
have another day after that.
Yeah, I'm on the road all week. I get back Friday night. I'm home Saturday, Sunday, and I leave again Monday.
Oof.
Yeah.
All righty then, sir. This has been an episode.